Netflix confirmed Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis will clash after Paul beat Mike Tyson. Paul taunted Davis about his height, daring him to face off. The rivalry intensifies as Paul's bold challenges keep fueling the tension ahead of the showdown.
Is there a height limit in boxing?
It's a proud moment for Jake Paul, a YouTuber turned fighter who managed to be a living legend like Mike Tyson, even if it was by a few points in a unanimous decision. But Paul's trash talk went too far when he mocked Gervonta Davis. Let's be clear, Davis is undefeated, never lost a fight. Good luck, Jake. You're gonna need it.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
I don't know if Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Yeah, you heard that right. Netflix just confirmed the matchup, and it's like they've strapped us into a rocket of pure, unfiltered boxing drama. Known for its endless true crime docs and comfort binge watching, Netflix now wants to disrupt the world of boxing with a fight that feels like a plot twist no one saw coming, but everyone's hooked on. And at the center of it all, Jake Paul, the loudmouth YouTuber turned boxer who, whether by skill or sheer chaos, has everyone talking. True to form, Jake wasted no time jumping into his signature trash talk. This time he mocked Gervonta Davis's height, asking if there's a height limit in boxing. Classic Jake, self-proclaimed villain, the internet's favorite problem child, always stirring the pot and keeping us all on edge. Will he back it up? We'll see.
When is Gervonta Davis going to go somewhere in the pound for pound? Louis deserve to be in the pound for pound? Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in the pound for pound? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Davis? He deserve to be somewhere also in the pound for pound.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me.
Let's talk about Jake Paul for a hot second. Jake burst onto the boxing scene in 2018 and honestly felt like a prank gone wrong that we're all still living through. His boxing resume looks more like a celebrity roast lineup than a legit fight card. He faced Tyron Woodley, sure, a solid MMA fighter, but not exactly boxing royalty. Jake knocked him out in their second fight, then went on to fight Anderson Silva. Respect to Silva, but he's far from in his prime. And because Jake has a flair for the absurd, he even stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson. At 58, Tyson could still end careers with a single punch, but let's be real, he's not a title contender in 2023. Still, Jake's managed to make it all feel like must-see TV. Jake Paul's 8-1 record with 6 knockouts might impress his YouTube fans, but let's be honest, he's not facing the best of the best. Jake's biggest weapon isn't his right hook. It's his ability to make headlines, and he's brilliant at it. But that doesn't mean we should pretend he's on the path to becoming a boxing legend. His matches are spectacles, glorified exhibitions dressed up as something more significant. Now, let's talk about Gervonta Tank Davis. If you want to talk about a real fighter, here's the guy who's not posting videos for clout. Tank is stacking knockouts like he's got a quota to meet. At 29 years old, he's an absolute menace with an undefeated record of 29 wins and 27 knockouts. Yes, 27. Tank doesn't have time for Jake Paul-level theatrics. He's too busy dismantling actual boxers. And just to top it off, Floyd Mayweather himself mentored this beast.
I've always been there for him from day one. We had a game plan, and my game plan was to help him become world champion and take things to that next level.
Gervonta Tank Davis is the perfect blend of lethal power and technical mastery. He didn't earn his nickname for fun. He's a human wrecking ball, leaving destruction in his wake. Remember when he stopped Ryan Garcia with a body shot so brutal it looked like Garcia was hit by a truck? Or when he sent Leo Santa Cruz crashing to the canvas with an uppercut that probably still haunts Cruz in his sleep? Tank doesn't play games. He fights like he's settling blood feuds.
I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great things about him, always pushed him to be great. And, but over the years, it's constantly going on the internet, take a shot at Floyd.
Gervonta Tank Davis didn't hold back after Jake Paul's so-called victory over Mike Tyson. Instead of throwing punches, Tank came out swinging with words sharp enough to cut through Jake's overinflated ego. He straight up called Jake a whole bozo and roasted him for not even finishing Tyson, despite winning by unanimous decision. Sure, Jake left the ring with a win, but Davis wasn't impressed. He called Jake a *fed and dismissed the entire fight as a joke. making it clear he wasn't buying into the hype surrounding Jake's so-called victory.
Gervonta saying to the bozo that shared the ring with Mike, "You a whole bozo for this, and you didn't get the job done."
But here's where it gets better. Gervonta Davis took a moment to show real respect for Mike Tyson, calling him a legend and reminding everyone that no one will ever come close to Iron Mike. Just when you thought he was done, Davis doubled down with a threat that would make anyone's knees buckle.
Pay tribute to Mike, saying, "You will forever be a legend, whether you like it or not, and it will never be another one. And I understand you so well. All this don't mean nothing."
Gervonta Tank Davis is ready to beat the brakes off Jake Paul, and he's already mapped out exactly how he's going to do it. Uppercut, left hook, uppercut, repeat. Jake's little height jokes, yeah, they're not so funny anymore. Davis is coming with bombs, not jokes, and he's dead serious. Let's see Jake laugh his way out of that one. Putting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis in the same sentence almost feels disrespectful to boxing. Jake's entire persona revolves around his inflated ego, trash talk, and a misplaced confidence that he can somehow hang with the elite. Meanwhile, Tank has been proving himself against real fighters, people who know how to throw punches and take them. Sure, Jake has the height advantage at 6'1" to Tank's 5'5", but let's not pretend that's going to save him from the beat Tank can dish out. Jake's mockery of Tank's height is ironically misplaced. Davis has been knocking out taller opponents his entire career. Focusing on size is the weakest flex ever, especially when you're up against a fighter whose compact, explosive style is designed to destroy, not get drawn into childish taunts. Jake, you might want to come up with better jokes. Tank Davis isn't here to laugh, he's here to hurt people.
Tank Davis, he was a young kid, came up to me when he was a kid, wanted an autograph. I signed his phone for him and told him, "You'll be world champion someday, and I'll be your promoter." Years later, he was working with some people from our team, because our team is huge. We got guys in DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, all around. He won a few fights. I think he was like 8 or 9-0. I told him, in under 24 months, you'll be world champion. Made the right moves, put him in the right position. He's a multi-millionaire now.
Absolutely.
He was a kid that couldn't even buy a bus ticket. Now he's a multi-millionaire.
Gervonta Tank Davis is too busy preparing to crush skulls in the ring to be bothered by Jake Paul's antics. The man is a stone-cold knockout artist, and Jake's height jokes are about as effective as a fly trying to distract a lion. While Jake chirps away on social media, fishing for likes and shares, Davis stays cool, brushing off the nonsense with his silence. It's like he's silently saying, "Keep talking, Jake. I got a surprise for you." Meanwhile, Davis's fans are losing their minds online, reminding Jake why they call him Tank. They know better than anyone that Davis has knocked out taller, bigger opponents without breaking a sweat, and they're more than confident he'll do the same to Jake. They're convinced Tank will send Jake back to YouTube with a black eye, proving once again that real fighters don't need gimmicks to get attention. Let's break it down. We've got two wildly different fighting styles about to clash. Jake Paul, for all his bravado, fights with brute force, hoping to land that one big game-changing punch. He's all about power and strategy, waiting for his moment to go for the knockout. It's worked for him, at least against hand-picked opponents who weren't exactly in their prime. But when it comes to Gervonta Davis, Jake is stepping into a whole different league. Davis is a walking highlight reel. His speed is lightning fast, his timing flawless, and his punches land with such force that they don't just hurt. They take the soul out of his opponents. When Davis steps into the ring, it's not just a match, it's a demolition job. He's been trained by Floyd Mayweather himself, so you know he's got the skills to pay the bills. While Jake may have power and brawn, Davis has brains and the ability to end fights before they even start. Let's not forget that Davis has taken down fighters with longer reaches and bigger frames. Height doesn't scare him, and it sure as hell doesn't make Jake invincible. Davis's strategy is all about closing the gap, slipping punches, and turning his opponent's face into a punching bag. Jake's best hope is to keep Davis at bay with his jab, but that's easier said than done. Tank's relentless pressure and explosive counters have made giants crumble, and Jake is no exception. While Jake keeps dropping his little height jokes, Davis is likely just sharpening his weapons, ready to remind Jake that boxing is a skill game, not a size contest. Tank has faced trash talkers and critics his entire career, and he's never let it faze him. His poker face under pressure is legendary. Jake may be the king of psychological warfare, but his antics are unlikely to throw off someone who's been fighting real boxers since he was a teenager. Jake Paul may have built an empire off getting inside people's heads, but against someone like Davis, it's not going to work. Tank's mental game is as strong as his physical game. He's faced doubters, trash talkers, and bigger opponents before, and he's silenced them all with brutal knockouts. When it comes to the mind games, Jake might find himself outclassed. Davis is ready to remind him that in boxing, it's not about who talks the loudest. It's about who lands the hardest punch.